Alright, hello, welcome to Real Opinions. Me and Jack are reviewing Monsters Dark Continent. Okay, so I'm just going to really briefly introduce the film. So, it's a sequel to Gareth Edwards' Monsters, which was a lo-fi, pretty much entirely made by Gareth Edwards and a very small crew. Film about, it was like a road movie that just happened to have monsters as aliens, as like a backdrop, these giant alien creatures. But really it was focused on a love story between the central two characters. And it was like a surprise hit, and it obviously got him the gig with Godzilla. And now we have the sequel, Dark Continent, where basically what the producers are doing is they are taking the universe Gareth Edwards created, and they are giving each film to someone who's never directed a feature before, and they're basically saying, like, put your own spin on this. The only condition is that there have to actually be monsters in it, but that they're free to explore this in whatever way they want. And now we have Monsters Dark Continent, which is directed by Tom Green. Jack, what do you think?
Made me want to kill myself. Like, it sounded like a good idea when you first said, like, oh, every guy's going to get first-time director gets a film in this universe, which I thought was quite good. You've seen the original. I haven't seen the original, so I thought that was good to go in.
It's genuinely a good film.
And it sounded like a good idea. And then we saw the film.
Yeah. So, before we really get into the minutiae, this film takes the world that he's created and it turns it into a war film this time. Yeah. Last time it's a road movie, a love story. This time, a war film. Kind of aping Heart of Darkness. This was very Heart of Darkness-esque, very Apocalypse Now in places. But it's not focused on, like, humans fighting monsters. It's humans fighting this insurgency, and I don't know where. It's in the Middle East somewhere.
It's somewhere Middle East.
Yeah. They're fighting this insurgency. Monsters happen to be there. That's the gist. It sucks. Like, real bad.
It just sucks.
Okay, so, firstly, all the characters, they're these, like, ooh-rah grunts. Yep. Like, their vocabulary doesn't really stretch much beyond, hell yeah! That's like, that's
woo!
Woo! Woo! Kill monsters! And, and they are insufferable. Bar the, I don't know, he's one of the sort of officers in command who just says some brilliant things about the statistics of his dildo and stuff.
So there's white guy with buzz cut ×3. There's the two black characters who, like, guess who's going to die first. There's the translator. Guess who dies first with them. And then there's the crazy sergeant, who's basically
Colonel Kurtz.
Colonel Kurtz, yeah, basically. Yeah, it's just bad.
So, they're your central group of people that you're supposed to care about and be interested in, which is difficult. But for the first half of the film, it's just bad.
It's funny bad, though. Yeah. I was thinking, when I was sat in the first half, I was thinking, this is the kind of film that I could watch again and laugh at how bad it is.
Yeah, because the screenwriting was insane.
And
but then, in the second half, it becomes something else entirely.
It's so...
Because it basically becomes like a student film, where it kind of thinks it's so profound, while it's basically just go, war shit. But that's basically the extent of it, but it's so unbelievably dull.
I've never been more bored in a film. It's literally, like, at the halfway point, it must have been halfway. I thought it was the end of the film. It's like, they get to a point where I think, I thought, like, okay, the film's going to end now. No, because then they walk about the desert for, like, an hour and a half afterwards.
They fuck around.
They just fuck around. Great! Literally, so if you could categorise, like, the second half of the film, it's they walk around, see kids, and then sometimes see dead kids instead. And there's slow-mo shots of birds every 5 seconds.
And they keep doing this thing where it's like, oh, it's so dark, and so, oh, it's about the dark heart of humanity, where the characters will be, like, hearing a load of noises, and then they'll just go, ah!
They just scream! They just scream, and it zooms in on their teeth.
So loud. And it really hurts. I felt traumatised by him. It's just like,
shell shock.
It's just, you go from being ridiculously bored to having someone screaming in your face, and there's no kind of shit in between. But not only is it really ridiculously boring, but you get the feeling that everyone was in on it because the guy doing the score just keeps looping the same
It's so boring.
over and over again, as if to highlight the fact that nothing is changing.
And then there's another 5-minute rice cooking montage where they have to learn about the culture of the people that live there.
Like you said, like by that point we were so convinced it was nearly done,
I just
and then it's just like, no, we
No.
need to see them learn about. You just want them dead, die and end.
Basically, it starts off with essentially imagine if they made Call of Duty but with the sole purpose of giving people epilepsy. That's the intro.
He really fucking hates epilepsy. There's so the credits are just. Even I felt a bit like
No, I had to look away from the credits, and it's so loud and blaring. And then
visual assault on you.
Monsters, Dark Continent, and then
I don't
Detroit in the biggest font, like American flag font.
And there's like, because you got all these ooh-rah men grunts at the centre. There's a lot of like we found very funny at first before it that there's a very very pronounced homoerotic thing going on.
So
And they're like jumping on top of each other, tackling
5 times.
And then like the voiceover guy goes like, "No one understood us." And it's very.
It sounded like Brokeback Mountain. Look, well, you're supposed to be the mad sergeant because by the end he was saying exactly what I was thinking. Because he just randomly runs into a town screaming, "Who the fuck are you people? Why the fuck am I here?" And that's how I'm feeling at that point. I want to shoot these people.
Because you forget what the mission. I forgot what the
Like,
mission was.
halfway through,
and
like,
like
when
I turned to you and went, because the guy went, we have to finish the mission. And I had to
Like, I
turn
did
to you
forgot
and
there
went,
was a mission.
I turned to you and went, what was the mission? I zoned out, and I didn't know. At the end of it, the mission was apparently failed, and I didn't know.
That's just pointless. They didn't even learn about the culture.
no, that's the thing is that it seems to pretend it has some kind of meaning, but all it does is the surface of having a meaning. So it's like, oh, look, this part they learn about the culture because you see them talking. You don't hear what they're saying, so you don't know what they're learning. They're learning. And then like, oh, look, war's bad because kids. Every fucking corner, there's some solemn-faced kid looking at them dauntlessly. It's every fucking turn.
The most detail the film goes into in the entire thing is that one monologue about the Sibian, the dildo machine.
Oh shit, yeah. Thinks it's so profound and symbolic, like, because it has, we were talking about the Apocalypse Now-esque-ness. There's a bit where a guy he's stood against a black background and he's just going like, I'm not afraid of monsters, you can't scare me. And that's the scene. We got him to cry now.
It's so painful.
Yeah.
For like a 2-minute shot.
That's because again, deep, emotional, driven. Every character cries.
Every character
every
cries,
time. It's like, oh look, that leaf just blew past my knee. They're in tears. They've not been trained.
No, they haven't been trained. The medic guy, he doesn't even know how to do CPR. When the guy dies, he just sat against the wall. He just goes.
And then breaks down weeping.
Breaks down crying.
We're doing spoilers, but don't see it.
No, I can't believe we haven't seen it. Don't see it. It's the worst film I've seen in the cinema.
It's not that it's necessarily like appallingly made or offensive. It's just it's so boring and so
dull,
so pretentious.
I thought the acting was actually pretty good.
Committed.
They
were trying.
Yeah, it's just I think it's.
They were trying.
It's the direction.
Yeah, they were trying because they were all afforded a scene where they got to go, "Ah!" which was acting. They had their acting bit.
Put it in perspective, the reason why we're laughing, it's not because it's funny, it's because it's to come with to terms with the situation that we've just been
When
through.
we were in the cinema, like, you were sat there, and like I told you, you had that proper Kubrick-esque face of just...
Yeah.
Whereas I was laughing, but I wasn't laughing at the film. I was kind of like, well, it did feel a bit like having cabin fever. I was just sat next to you going, I was just sat next to you going,
it's like, I've like, it's the closest film that's ever gotten me to like feeling the futility of life because
We will.
It
I was
just-
just sat there, kind of like every time.
I lost sense
every
of
time
space
it
and time.
like,
I thought like, every time I thought it was going to end, they're going to be like, "There's a camp nearby that might have them in." No, no.
And he's just like, oh well, we could be ending, but here's some shots of horses.
Why the horses? It
Oh,
was just slow-mo horse shots. It's not deep.
It's so painful.
There's no monsters in it.
There's this bit where it's like all allegory, contemporary, where they're sat around and they're going like, why do you keep coming back here? And he goes like, to keep my children safe, to protect America. Yeah. And then the guy goes, is that what we're doing here? And you can like, yeah, like the intended response is like, okay, we'll do ratings. I don't know if you can see where this is going. Now I'm in a weird kind of place here because my least favorite film of the year so far has been a 0, and then after that I gave Seventh Son, which was really bad, but actually when I compare it to this, it wasn't anywhere near as torturous. It was just bad. I gave that a 1, so I feel like I have to give this less than that, even though I feel like it maybe merits a few points. So instead what I'm gonna do is what do they call it? Where you kind of match someone's bet. Well, anyway, I'm gonna do that.
Sorry, I'm completely blank there.
Whatever that's called, I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna go with 1 out of 10.
I'm going for 2 out of 10.
But this
Like,
is coming out.
that's-
That's come from 6 out of 10, Jack.
6 out of 10.
So in short, don't see it.
Sean, please, don't give him money. Don't give it anything. I don't know how to wrap it up.
That was good. The horror. The
The
horror.
horror. The horror. The horror.